Hey everyone, Chris with Coalition Gaming here, and I just want to talk a little bit about the importance of maintaining your custom water cooling loop. You're going to want to see this. So I feel like I have a lot to talk about right now, but I'm a little bit at a loss for words. So recently, my little brother gave me his computer back to work on. There were some issues with Windows, some software stuff that's generally a little bit harder for a more advanced sort of casual user to be able to figure out. And I'm the technician in the family, as well as amongst a good amount of our friends. So, well, with that said, I took the computer and discovered that the water cooling loop in it had not been properly maintained. Now, he had been warned about this at our previous LAN party and still never got around to it. He was really gung-ho originally when he got his EK Fluid Gaming A240 CPU kit. If you guys want to see a video on that, when we originally put it on in his previous case, it'll be linked right up here. It'll also be linked in the description, as well as the more or less current version of the system as it stands now. That was done by Homebrewedhero originally, so there was another issue that the system encountered back then, and that had to do with EK's stock tubing. Their kit tubing apparently had an issue, and it leached plasticizer and gunked a few things up. It was cleaned out, and then a sort of a opaque gray was added to it, and it was reborn as Greymare. Well, that didn't seem to work out, because over time, especially when you do an opaque fluid, you have to stay on top of the maintenance, and he went way over the recommended interval on that. So it's sort of already a questionable thing in a way. I mean, it's mostly safe, but you're already throwing an aluminum water cooling loop into the mix. You want to stay on top of the maintenance. So by the time I got to it, weird stuff happened. I turned the computer on, the loop emptied out. Yeah, that. The loop, rather the reservoir emptied out, almost looked like it went empty. I'm like, nope. And then at that point, it was time to get working on fixing up the loop. I wasn't expecting to do that before, and to be honest, I haven't actually really gotten my hands on custom water cooling parts other than helping Homebrewedhero out with whatever projects we worked on. And well, it's not that big a deal, honestly. It seemed relatively straightforward, and so took it all apart. And with a few pointers from Homebrewedhero himself, he is our resident water cooling expert. With a few pointers from him, got everything cleaned out, taken apart, redid the tubing, got it all back together. And yeah, this took a while because water cooling stuff on the outside, from me talking to you guys right now, it seems like it's very straightforward and relatively easy to do. And for the most part, it is. But when you have additional things to do where you have to redo stuff, clean stuff, that's when the tediousness that makes it not for everyone rears its head. And so I went through, took care of all that, scrubbed out the gunkiness. I mean, look at that, you guys. Come on, that was inside the loop. And fortunately, the pump and the reservoir was in pretty good shape. It was mostly the water block that took the brunt of whatever buildup that was. So that was cleaned out, everything was redone, reinstalled in the system, and boom, there we go. Temps, oddly enough, are pretty much the same. So yeah, I don't know what to say about that. So whatever issues it was having, and I've heard of this happening before. Homebrewedhero went through it when he had an opaque blue, and he noticed, I guess, some buildup as well, some staining in the tubing, some staining in the blocks, but the temperatures were not affected. And the same in this case. You know, tubing was stained, there was buildup, and tubing was the same, it was stained, and yeah, so all that factored in. Again, temps stayed relatively the same. So, but it's nice that it's clean now. Don't have to worry about that. Everything is in operating condition. But one thing I did want to talk about with all that, when the weirdness started happening, is it sprung a leak somehow. I'm sitting there, I look down, and there's water on the floor. I'm working on another computer, by the way, for a different friend, and there's just water sitting on the floor. I'm like, what spilled or something? Was it the dog? Because sometimes when she drinks water, she has like drippy face going on and walks into the room. And I look around and I don't really see anything that makes sense. And then I remembered, oh right, the computer. So then I look at it and it's like a nightmare inside. Nah, not really a nightmare, but I mean, it was something, definitely something. And so it looked like the bottom fitting on the radiator, not the bottom fitting, but like just in the orientation that it is in, the bottom fitting was leaking. So when I took it all apart, I went through and I took a wrench, an Allen wrench, put it in there and tightened them up a little bit more. Looks like they all took an eighth to maybe more than an eighth of a turn. And with everything properly retightened and redone, no more leaks. Did 3 leak tests. 3. I want to be completely sure this thing would not leak. I did a leak test with a separate power supply powering the pump on my coffee table. No leaks. Reinstalled it into the computer. Did it again with that power supply with the computer not powered on. No leaks. And both of these I did overnight leak tests. So not necessarily like 24 hours worth of testing, but it was still a good chunk of time. Probably about anywhere between 4 to 8 hours each. And then the moment of truth came, plugged it all in properly, started buttoning up the system to get it back up and running, and no leaks again. So, thumbs up. That worked out. Everything is back to the way it needed to be, and then finally I was able to get to what I was originally going to do, and that's just reinstall Windows. That's really all that was happening. This thing is a streaming computer and gaming computer, obviously, and multi-use for all sorts of stuff. It's got a Xeon E5 1650, and it's a solid performer too. So back up and running, Windows redone. It's time to get going with this thing. Hopefully he enjoys it. Everybody check out TZ. No, he's not TZ Gaming anymore. He is Tzalman 909 on Twitch. Everything will be linked in the description below. Videos on this in its previous forms, as well as his Twitch. So make sure you guys check him out. And make sure you guys take care of your water cooling loops. It is very important that you don't let stuff like this happen, because it will at some point negatively affect your loop overall. And to be honest, if other people saw it, they'd probably question, why are you ignoring your maintenance duties so much? Because it's important. Custom water cooling loops is like, I wouldn't say it's like getting a puppy, but everybody thinks it's the coolest thing ever. But once you get it, you gotta take care of it. If you're unsure, if you want to put that time and hassle into it, stick with an AIO. You'll be way happier in the long run. If you're gonna get something cool and you want something cooler than just clear liquid in there, prepare to do some maintenance, because it is very important. I cannot put more emphasis on the fact that if you guys do custom water cooling in any shape, way, or form, and that's including like the semi-custom stuff as well, like the Alpha Cool Ice Bear kits, or the EK Predator. Well, not the Predator, but now I think it's the Phoenix MLC, the EK A240 Fluid Gaming Aluminum kits, which is a little bit, adds another layer of complication to the mix, but they're still mostly custom loops. They may sell themselves as a sort of semi or not quite full custom loops, but the way they work is more or less just a custom loop with another name on it. I believe the Fractal Celsius, I think is it, S36, that follows a similar sort of not quite AIO but not quite custom loop. Whatever the case is, make sure you guys stay on top of your maintenance, and that goes for the rest of your computer as well. Clean it out, dust it out, make sure you're taking good care of it, because it's a lot of money invested in one of those things, and you don't want to waste that. Anyways, you guys, this is Chris Coalition Gaming. If you like this video, click that like button, or thumbs up button rather. Subscribe, we always got more coming. Join our Discord, it'll be linked in the description below, and I hope you all have a good day. See you in the next video. Bye.